Serving the Emperor sounds dignified until the recruitment officer closes the door behind you. The Imperium has cathedrals, banners, marching hymns, and enough gold trim to make a Hive governor emotional. It also has a labor policy built around one simple belief: humanity is the Emperor's resource, and resources are meant to be used. Some servants get medals, some get a name engraved on a monument. Most get assigned a task so unpleasant that death starts looking like a transfer request. The Emperor has been waiting 10,000 years. His institutions learned to treat compassion as a scheduling problem. These are the 10 worst ways to serve the Emperor. Number 10 is still terrible. By number 1, you are part of Imperial infrastructure in a way that makes resignation difficult. Number 10, the Imperial Guardsman. You are given a lasgun, a flak vest, a few ration packs, and a speech about courage. The Departamento Munitorum then drops your regiment wherever a planet has begun making the wrong noises. Maybe it is Armageddon, where orcs turn entire hive districts into scrapyards. Maybe it is a Tyranid invasion, where the sky itself becomes hungry. Your commander points toward the enemy, the artillery begins, and suddenly the Emperor needs another line of bodies between the problem and a civilian population that may never learn your name. The lasgun is a fine weapon when enough people fire it at once. The Imperium solved that requirement by recruiting more people than anyone can count. Commissars watch the line behind you. They are there to preserve morale, which occasionally requires removing a soldier who has developed too much interest in retreat. Guardsmen survive through discipline, luck, and the fact that something worse gets eaten first. You might live through the battle. Then a clerk stamps a new deployment order because apparently surviving proved you were available. Number 9, the voidship rating. An Imperial warship can carry tens of thousands of crew, and some of the largest vessels carry far more. You do not get a private cabin. You get a bunk near a deck full of engine noise, incense, bad air, and men whose family tree probably began and ended in the same corridor. During battle, crews haul gigantic macro shells through cathedral-sized gun decks, feed ammunition into ancient loading machinery, and pray that the next impact lands on somebody else's section. A capital ship may be kilometers long, yet your entire life fits between a pressure hatch and a ration line. Boarding alarms are worse. Somewhere in the dark, orcs, gene stealers, or chaos cultists have entered the ship, and the officer hands you a shotgun because the security team ran out of time. When the Geller field flickers during warp travel, fear becomes even less useful. Your work keeps the fleet alive. Your captain has never seen your face. The ship remembers you as a personnel number, right up until the bulkhead seals and the number stops reporting for duty. Number 8, the Hive Worker. A hive city rises for kilometers, its upper spires lit by windows and private gardens, while the lower levels run on factories, corpse processing plants, ventilation crews, and people who have never seen the sky. You wake, clock in, operate one machine for 12 hours or more, eat gray ration paste, sleep, and return before the next shift bell. The air changes with each factory level. One deck smells of oil. The next smells of chemicals. The lowest decks smell like someone stopped caring generations ago. A broken conveyor can cost you a hand. A missed quota can cost your household its food allotment. The administratum will describe your output as an essential contribution to the war effort, which is a polite way to say somebody on a distant front needs another box of ammunition. The dead do not leave the system either. On worlds such as Necromunda, human remains can become corpse starch, a food source with the nutritional profile of regret. You spend your life building the machinery of the Imperium. Eventually, the machinery gets one final shift from you. Efficient, sustainable, deeply upsetting. Number 7, the Penal Legionnaire. The Imperium has prisons, of course. It also has wars, and wars create a constant demand for people who can walk toward gunfire. A conviction turns you into a useful administrative solution. Desertion, theft, insubordination, a political enemy, or simply being caught near the wrong person can send you into a penal unit. Colonel Schaefer's last chancers made a career out of taking condemned soldiers on missions that normal regiments would call suicidal and then call headquarters about. Other penal formations fit their prisoners with explosive collars, so a missed order becomes a very short disciplinary hearing. You carry a weapon, wear whatever uniform the quartermaster has not already burned, and are sent through minefields, toxic trenches, and enemy fortifications ahead of troops considered worth keeping. The Imperium calls it a chance to earn redemption. The paperwork calls it a reduction in sentence. Your officer calls it forward. The Imperial legal system calls the resulting crater a completed deployment. Everyone is technically correct. Number 6, the Sister Repentia. First, you become one of the Adepta Sororitas. You train, pray, wear power armor, and learn to turn faith into a weapon. Then, you fail. Maybe you disobeyed an order. Maybe your superior found a stain on your soul. Maybe you survived when someone else died, and the Ecclesiarchy decided guilt looked better on you. The armor comes off. Your hair is cut. You take an eviscerator, wrap yourself in the robes of repentance, and charge toward anything large enough to kill you properly. The Repentia do not hide behind a firing line. They run at demons, Xenos monsters, traitor Astartes, and armored vehicles with chainswords made for industrial problems. Death is supposed to wash away shame. Living after several charges only proves the Emperor wants more documentation. A canoness never needs to explain where salvation lies. She points at the enemy and assumes distance will handle the details. It is the closest thing the Imperium has to a performance review where the correct answer is dying beautifully. Number 5. The Astropath. The black ships arrive at your world when the psykers have been collected. Nobody asks whether you wanted the invitation. You are loaded into shielded holds with thousands of people whose thoughts can attract things from the warp, then taken toward Terra under guard. A few psykers become sanctioned servants of the Imperium. You enter the soul-binding ritual, stand before the Emperor's psychic presence, and emerge alive, with your sight often burned away. In return, your mind becomes a relay station for messages that cross the galaxy faster than any ordinary signal. Admirals, governors, and inquisitors depend on astropaths. Their wars are coordinated by people who spend their lives listening for screams inside the warp. You send a warning from one sector to another, then feel something answer from the darkness between the stars. Sometimes it is another astropath. Sometimes the reply has teeth. Only in the Imperium can a message from your superior arrive as a psychic migraine and still be marked urgent. The job comes with enormous responsibility, terrible working conditions, and no unsubscribe button. Even silence can become dangerous when a demon learns your name. Number 4. The Servitor. You commit a crime, offend the wrong tech priest, fail a loyalty test, or simply become more useful as equipment than as a citizen. The sentence is servitude in perpetuis. Adeptus Mechanicus surgeons erase or suppress your mind, cut away whatever limbs interfere with the assignment, and install cables, augmetics, tools, weapons, or data ports. One day, you may have worked in a manufactorum. The next, you are loading shells into a battle tank, opening a door for an inquisitor, or standing in a warehouse for 50 years because your new job requires an arm and no opinions. No promotion awaits. Some units receive a new attachment. That is the career ladder. The process is supposed to leave nothing important behind. Supposed to. Stories spread through the lower hive about servitors who cry when nobody is watching, or stare at a child because something inside recognizes a shape it once loved. The tech priests call those rumors superstition. They also say prayer improves machinery, so perhaps their standards of evidence are flexible. Either way, your service never ends. Your payroll does. On the bright side, the Mechanicus finally found a citizen who will never request a day off. Number 3. The Arco-Flagellant. A servitor at least receives a task. An Arco-Flagellant receives a punishment that happens to have weapons attached. The Ecclesiarchy takes a condemned heretic judged worthy of redemption, which is a phrase that should make any sensible person run, and hands them to the surgeons. Limbs disappear. Neural systems are rewired. Drug injectors, shock coils, flails, claws, and stimulants take their place. The human being inside is buried under pain, rage, and commands from a priest who holds the activation controls. When battle begins, the restraints release. The Arco-Flagellant charges into the enemy with every nerve burning and every muscle forced past failure. It tears through cultists, mutants, and anything else placed in front of it, because its body has become a confession with blades. The faithful see a holy weapon. Under the drugs and commands, the condemned may catch one brief memory of the person who used to own that body. Afterwards, surviving does not count as a victory. You are chained down, repaired, sedated, and saved for the next sermon. Forgiveness in the Imperium comes with a power cable. Number 2. The Penitent Engine. Here, the Ecclesiarchy decides a simple execution would waste too much potential. You remain conscious, which already separates this experience from servitorization and makes it considerably worse. They bolt you into an open iron walker with flamers, saw blades, buzzing weapons, and enough exposed machinery to ensure every enemy knows where the screaming comes from. Chemical injectors keep your body moving. Pain drives the machine forward. The iron frame leaves the pilot exposed by design. Every enemy can see exactly where the noise comes from. The crew controlling its holy violence can alter what you see until the faces ahead look like your own, because apparently ordinary combat lacked sufficient psychological detail. Penitent Engines charge the strongest enemy formation they can find. Their pilots seek absolution through slaughter and usually find a projectile, a demon claw, or a very large axe instead. Sisters of Battle watch these machines go in as an example to the faithful. The lesson is clear. Doubt the Emperor, and your punishment gets legs. Number 1. The Psyker Sacrifice. The black ships brought you to Terra. You passed every screening that mattered. You were powerful enough to serve, sane enough to stand in the line, and unlucky enough to be assigned to the one duty nobody returns from. Beneath the Imperial Palace, the Golden Throne keeps the Emperor alive and projects the Astronomican across the void. Navigators rely on that psychic beacon to cross warp space. Fleets rely on navigators. Entire worlds rely on fleets arriving before something eats them. The system burns through psykers. Day after day, a vast choir of human minds is fed into the machinery until their strength is gone. Some accounts put the number around 1,000 each day. You do not get a battlefield, a medal, or even a body for your family to bury. You sit near the greatest monument humanity ever built and become fuel for the light that guides everyone else. The daily schedule does not include saving the operator. The galaxy sees a beacon. You become the part that is burning. So there it is. Serving the Emperor can mean standing beside your regiment, hauling shells through a void ship, praying with a chain blade, or becoming a component nobody remembers to name. The Imperium endures because billions of people accept a duty they never chose. Some get statues, some get lobotomized, some become light. Next time somebody says the Emperor protects, remember that protection involves a truly horrifying human resources department.